Hey, everyone, and welcome to episode number 27 of the Chris Rose Rotation, a production of JOMBOY Media. Once again, we are joined by Mets reliever Trevor May, who's good enough to fight through today. A little coughing, aching, stuffy head fever, so you can rest medicine. Not that bad. How you sound?
Not that bad. No, just stuffy. Just stuffy.
Is it an allergy thing? Is it the nasty weather in New York change?
I mean, it could have a little bit to do with that. A lot of guys, actually, we've had a couple of guys just like sinus things happen in the last week or so, and they just had to take some antibiotics. So I'm pretty sure that it's the same thing. It's something that I've had recurring a lot in my life anyways. So just staying inside for the last 18 months has helped me avoid it. So I forgot that it was something that naturally happened to me. So that's probably what it is. Nothing
but big. I always have you as a guy who you're progressive when it comes to almost everything. Like you always seem to be a step ahead of everybody else, whether it's technologically or medicine or something. Like I could imagine you being the guy who has figured out how to defeat this illness.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm sad because usually I have like airborne, that stuff you're supposed to drink before you fly.
Right.
Like heavy vitamin C stuff. I usually have like a tube of that with me and Advil, cold and sinus and all this stuff in my house. So I wake up stuffy. I can just crush it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Something that helps in the broadcast world is really opening up everything, like your body and screaming and letting things out.
Yeah.
So maybe I should send you back down to Miami where you after striking somebody out yelled where the entire stadium, I think, shook after. Was that like one of those out of body experiences?
Yeah, I didn't expect to get that fired up, but there, for whatever reason, there was just I didn't feel like I had a lot of help that day. And there was a lot of stuff, I felt like I was out there just kind of like, I'm like, this is on me. Like ain't no one coming out to help me. There's going to be, if someone puts the ball in play here, it's probably going to just squirt through the hole. It was just one of those days where I just was like, I assumed that. And so I think what I was so fired up is because when I got 3-1 on Cooper, something in my head, and this happens, I love going into this mode, but something in my head switched, like all of the options are out. Like there's no hesitation. It's like I'm throwing 2 fastballs. Like he knows I'm throwing 2 fastballs. I know I'm throwing 2. Like there's nothing. I just put 1 down, and I believe in 3-2. He just put 1 side with a guy in second. Like, and so I'm like, this is either going to go really well, or it isn't. And I had made the decision that I was just going to make it go well. And then when that happens, that result you feel like it's going to happen does, like that's when you get really, really excited.
And I imagine the dugout is equally as excited.
I've never seen them them respond to me because I'm going to be honest, like this team responds to like emotion a little bit differently than the Twins did. A lot of younger guys, and so I'll just remember coming down the steps and seeing Nimmo just like kind of posted up, kind of crouched down, just yelling "Let's go" at me. It was really funny. It looked like it was like I was in WWE or something. But a lot of guys really fired up. And I'll never forget Maymond coming up and giving me a huge like high five. And that's like I hadn't even, because he just got there that day, so I hadn't even spoken to him yet. Which is really cool. Like that's he's been around, and he's switched teams like that like a good number of times in his career. So he's just like flowing like water, right? He's fitting right in wherever he goes. So but that was super cool, just like knowing that anyone who comes in plugs right into our team. So,
that's awesome. That's good stuff, dude. I'm always curious about this because my youngest son just finished his freshman year in high school, and he played varsity baseball. He got a handful of innings this year. He probably got 10 innings on the mound. Hadn't pitched in 2.5 years, so the plate was moving on him a little bit. And I would constantly talk to him about how you battle that, because like once you start throwing ball 4 or hitting guys, like how in the world do you ever lose confidence while you're on the mound? Do you have to snap yourself out of it?
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes you go out and for whatever reason you're more nervous on any given day. It's most common like at the beginning of an inning. You start and you're like, man, you want to get that first hitter out, and say like you just make a mistake and he hits a double or something. The guy in second. For me, inherently, like in my career, I've been really good at stranding that guy on second, just getting the next 3 guys out.
Right.
But there's days where you're just like, oh no, not this, and then that's when, like, you just like for whatever reason you just don't have the energy to like battle through it again. So you have to like find it somewhere. And there's stretches during the year where you're just like, you have less energy, you have less mental energy to compete like to 100% for just because it's every day, man. You just get, we talked about this a lot in the pen recently, just especially with how our team is. It's game 7 every day. And,
Right.
we're winning games 2-1, 3-1, 4-2,
That's a lot of stress
every
on you guys.
day. And so it's max leverage every time we pitch, and we love it. We thrive there. But like, human beings, like you can't do that for 162 straight games. Like, and so you got to find ways, or at least like whose job it is that day changes a little bit. So other guys are getting opportunities to get those big outs. So like, but when your whole pen is used to doing it, or has experience doing it, that makes a really, really, really good team. So I know that we're doing a pretty good job of that, giving guys opportunities. But yeah, that's how you do, like, you get nervous and you got to recognize that like it's no different. The actual like situation isn't any different than it's ever been, and you got to find a way to reach down deep and go. That's like a major skill that I think bullpen guys, the best ones, are good at. Is just like reaching down deep when they don't have like all the energy in the world that day.
So I'm curious, you guys are I believe, the most banged up team in baseball, yet you're still in first place at the time we're taping here. And I understand the whole, hey, listen, that's baseball. It's next man up. It's a sports mentality. And I get and respect that. But at some point, like, you've got to be peeking around the next corner saying, what in the hell is going on when you've got 16 guys on the injured list? And I'm not talking about like some fringe major leaguers. I'm talking about bona fide guys that are expected to contribute. Is it weird?
Yeah, it's very weird. I'm gonna be honest. There was a lineup the other day where the only two guys that were in it from opening day were McCann and Lindor, and McCann was playing first for the first time since college. So I was like, it's we were joking around in training room because there was a bunch like McNeil and Conforto and Nimmo, like a bunch of guys were in there rehabbing. I was like, it's like final destination in this team. Like, if any of you guys are driving home from the field, and you see a log truck, just get out from behind that thing, because that's when this is going to happen. I'm like, not that it's like a log's going to fall and like come through the windshield. What's going to happen is a log's going to fall. You're going to have to dodge it, and you're going to go hit the guardrail and like hurt your shoulder or something. That's what's going to happen. So just please drive the speed limit and avoid other people as much as possible. We need you. Yeah, but we are doing such a good job of like embracing all the guys that are coming up and having to fill roles, especially when they're rookies, like Khalil Lee, Jake Hager. Khalil Lee and Jake Hager got there on that same day. I yelled, got their the first big league hit for the first time in the 11th inning. And then Joneshwi, which is the best first name in the major leagues, Fargas got his like third hit. And all three of them happened the same inning, and we scored 3 runs and we won. And he almost hit it in the Parker. Fargas did. Like the chances of that happening are crazy. I'll never forget, because we bring everyone up. We have them tell a speech when they get a first, and we have tons of firsts on this team. And Kay Lee goes, I made contact, boys, because I think it was 0 for 9 for 9 Ks at that point. And it was like just a lot of feel, hilarious, and just like really enjoying the moment. And so we've been embracing these guys, and they've been stepping up, and we're just scraping things by. We're not expecting anyone to come up and just be like, like Pete Alonso was when he came up. Like, we don't need the next superstar, rookie superstar. We just need guys to do their job the best they can. And I think our culture is allows for that stuff to happen well. So we were set up culturally really well for something like this to happen.
Yeah, it's cool to see guys achieve firsts, and then to achieve firsts while you're in first when guys are banged up is just awesome stuff. So you guys have Pat Mazika on your team.
Yes.
Who I think had 2 walk-offs or something before he ever got a hit in the major leagues, or
he
at
had
least
3 RBIs before.
3. Yeah.
So he tied a game once, and he got 2 walk-offs.
Right. So every time I looked up and he was doing something good and they were ripping his shirt off, I was like, who's the dude they just plucked out of section 138? Because he does not. It's seriously, it looked like how'd that guy become a Major League Baseball player? It's crazy. And plus,
he's a catcher.
With the number he's wearing and everything, I really thought it was like, hey, bring your fanboy to work day a couple of times.
Believe it or not, that's what a lot of catcher bodies look like. So it's actually not as rare as you think it is. It's weird because he's like hairless too. I was like, dude, I thought you'd have some chest hair or something, but you don't, which is with the big beard too.
Right.
So
It looks like he should be like fully head to toe.
Yeah, he's been growing that thing for like a year though. So I guess that's been a lot of work. That's maximum hair on his face. But yeah, again, like he's become, and you know how Mets baseball culture is, man. They love to like give people legend status. Like for example, well, they're gonna worship Bartolo Colon until the end of time.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
As well they should,
well they should. But again, if you go look at all the hilarious stuff that he did over the years here, it's like he's just like they love him. Like he could do no wrong. And Mazika very quickly turned into that. Like doesn't matter. Like he's going to be remembered for how his career started, no matter how good it goes from this point on, which is awesome.
So you've got your own baseball channel on YouTube, which is awesome. There's a ton of great content there, but you started blogging. So I suppose if you are a pitcher and your first name is Trevor in this sport, you best start blogging because it's a great way to break down that wall between athlete and fans. So here's a little taste for those of you that haven't seen it yet.
I'm recording though.
Are you recording?
No, recording. Yo, what's up?
What it do, guys? Marcus, how you doing?
Soft tissue stage. Done. Now look who got.
What's up, guys? I got the ass today.
I got the ass.
We got our asses kicked yesterday, even though we only lost 2-1. But I'm gonna disintegrate some baseballs today.
Sounds good, man. Good thing we play every day forever, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's my favorite room in the entire stadium.
The best room ever.
Get a massage chair. These are called anti-gravity chairs. Big awesome recliners. More of an anti-gravity guy. This is my spot. I don't know whose blanket this is, but
I figured out whose blanket that is. Miguel Castro's.
All of this is me. So it's about an hour and a half before the game. I like to get about a half an hour shut eye in. I'm driving now because I get car sick, and she made me car sick earlier today. So
You also hit the curb.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah. So she's not allowed to drive anymore.
It is a great 10 minutes. As of last check, about 130,000 views on that, which is a great number to start.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah,
that's some JOMBOY shit right there.
That's some JOMBOY stuff.
That's some Jimmy breakdown stuff. What was the best part of that experience?
One of the pleasantly surprised. So I had a bunch of anxiety around like filming around people, like just carrying a camera. You just feel like an idiot carrying a camera around, especially when people don't know what it is. But guys embraced it, man. Pete could not wait to get in it. Stroh obviously is like anything anyone wants to do outside the box, like by all means, and which I think is awesome. And so guys were just like trying to peek their heads in. The opposite of that was DeGrom. DeGrom was like, it was like trying to find Sasquatch to try to get him in the background. I tried so many times and he just kept avoiding me. But fun fact, vlog 2 is actually done and it's going to go out in the next, probably today. And we got Jake in it. We tricked him, which is pretty funny. But yeah, one of the biggest parts was how many guys embraced it and like participated. Because you can't say that like for everybody, because I watched Bowers too at the beginning, like when he's first a Dodger. I'm noticing that guys and like staff are getting in it more and more and more the more he does it. But the first couple, man, everyone was like he wasn't even near anybody. Like nobody else was in it anywhere. Yeah. Because obviously they're probably just like, I don't know, what this is gonna do. But now I'm like thinking about like, hey, can I just give Pete the camera and let him do one for a whole day? There'd be a lot of swearing in that one. Probably we had to cut some stuff. He just kind of let it loose out of nowhere. I was like, Jesus, this is my YouTube channel, man. Come on. But yeah, everyone just kind of participating and getting on board was pretty cool. And then the second one, so many guys knew about it that's actually, but so many people were on the DL that they were like iffy about like being happy on because they were not in good moods. But the second one, we got a lot of guys to kind of be in it. Tomas Nido had hit a big homer or something that night too, so like he was all about being in it, and it was pretty cool. So I'm getting guests, and that's going to be a big driver for that.
Well, not only that, you're going to get recurring characters.
Yeah,
I mean that's what'll happen. This is how movies are made, bro.
Yep.
Just telling you, it's going to be good stuff. It's a ton of fun. So what did the wife think of you calling her out about hitting the curb and making you car sick? Because I imagine that didn't go over great.
No, she's 100% on board with it. She's actually taken a very active role now in planning these things out.
I'm talking about the car stuff because there's like my wife has treated our car like it's a pinball. And so like I think she's like looking for stuff to run into now.
She was like, yeah, I should have hit the curb. I'm sorry. I'm like, this thing turns on a pin, man. Come on. What do you but the car sick thing, you can't avoid that with me. I make myself car sick. Like I get so car sick. I have horrible motion sickness. So that's not her fault. She knows very well. Just don't ask me to go on a boat. Like every time she asks me on a boat. Too. Yeah, no.
I'm out too. I won't do boats.
Not enough drama me in the world.
No. So wait, most people get car sick when they sit in the back seat. You get it in the front seat?
It's way worse in the back seat. Front seat still a little bit. I gotta be driving. I have to. I drive everywhere. I even like we did our honeymoon in Tuscany and we're coming out of the mountains to go down to Rome driving. And I was like, I just stopped the car and I was driving it several times because it was the windiest road I've ever seen.
Oh God.
Like switchbacks windy. Like, oh God. She's like, I can't believe you're sick when you're driving. I'm like, it's bad. We're in the hills of Italy.
Did you hurl on the side of the road?
No, I don't throw up. I never get to that point. I feel close and then it goes away.
All right, let's talk about nap time because I found that fascinating that somebody can nap, within 90 minutes of a game and still be ready to go. Yeah. Is that like a daily ritual?
Every day.
Every day.
Nelly Cruz, man. You wonder how
he onto it.
You wonder how that guy is as good as he is at that 41 is because he takes a nap every single day before BP. Every day. Or sorry, right after BP. Every day.
I don't understand how you're able to relax your body well enough when you still have to perform your number one task at the highest level.
I would say the quality of the nap isn't quite what it would be if you were at home and you didn't have like a time, like a game to get ready for, or like something that you was coming up pretty close. But so there's days where it's just basically meditation. Like you doze a little bit, but your heart rate drops enough to where you're actually recovering. But it is a good way to spark up some energy for a few hours. Like that's really take your energy levels to just woke up for 3 hours. And that's all you really need. It helps you stay locked in and focused a little bit better for a couple more hours. So not only that, we're not going to go to bed right after the game anyways. So like taking a nap at 6, like me going to bed at 1 a.m, like normal, is fine. So like it doesn't really affect that. I stopped drinking caffeine after the nap. I don't eat a ton after the game anymore either to help me go back to sleep at night. So it's all built around that. But the nap has been my ability to focus and just like I said, you have that mental energy to focus on your job. And if things aren't going well and holding your focus there, it's really hard when you're tired. And it's easier when you have a little bit of brain energy. So I started figuring out ways to get more brain energy later in the evening. And it's helped. I've been doing it since middle of probably 2 weeks into last season.
Do you have a nap partner? Like, are you guys like, okay, it's nap time?
I go in later than a lot of people because I pitch at the end of the game. So like I can get closer to the game. A lot of guys are in there between 5 and 6 and I go in at 6 and go to 6:30. But there's been times where I walked in at like 5:50 and every single one of those chairs was full. I was
like, I reserve that chair. Get out.
Castro and Familia have started napping. They used to do it every once in a while just when they needed it, but now they do it pretty much every day. And I'm looking, I'm like, I don't know if I had anything to do with this. I've been saying the word nap a lot. Now Gesellman started to nap a little bit. And then Lindor, it's something he already did. But again, both of us have Oura rings. Like we were already kind of on the sleep is really important to both of us. Right. So we've already talked a lot about it. So, but a lot of guys didn't know about the recovery room until I was like, hey, use this thing, man.
The mean Mets fans would say that Lindor sleeps through the first 6 innings too. So don't let people say that.
Yeah. They're gonna do what they're gonna do.
I know.
And guess what? As soon as he's just the second coming, they're gonna be.
Hey,
love him. So
you don't have to tell me. I am Frankie's Francisco. I don't want him getting pissed at me. I am Francisco's biggest fan. Yeah. Thank you very much, and he knows that. Hey, if you're a dad like me, one thing you love to see your kids do is improve at something they're passionate about. So this Father's Day, go out and subscribe to winreality.com for your little softball player or baseball player in the household. What it allows the kid to do is work on swings around the house thanks to virtual reality. They can line up against some of the best in the bigs. I'm telling you, Aaron Judge does it. Pete Alonso swears by it. So too does Cardinals first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. So what it helps you do is work on pitch recognition. If you're having trouble with a curveball or if you're having trouble in an 0-2 count, you can see hundreds, if not thousands of pitches and actually get better. And one of the cool things is you can hook up the Oculus to your TV, so it's fun for the entire family. You can all watch and see how much your little Sparky has improved their swing and their pitch recognition over the years. And then you could throw this thing on and show everybody in the household how much you suck. Or maybe you could actually improve. So today, go to winreality.com in time for Father's Day. Use the keyword ROSE. First month will be free. I want to repeat that. The first month subscription will be free with the keyword ROSE at winreality.com. Step in and take your hacks today. Hey, everybody. I know Father's Day is right around the corner, and you're probably thinking, my dad has everything. What does he need? He needs something from Dugout Mug. So go out and get it right now. You got the Dugout Mug. You can get it engraved with whatever you want. My kids, they already got a freebie here because it already says Chris Rose here. You got the wind up as well. You got the season opener for Pop's favorite drink. And then you got the knob shots as well. Look at how cute that is. And oh, how much fun it is. So you go to dugoutmugs.com, use the keyword rotation. That is rotation. And you'll get 35% off your order if you're one of the first 500 people. But if you're some of the next 500, don't worry. You'll get 30% off. The next 500 after that, get 25% off, and so on and so on. I am here to save you money and get your father a great gift as well. So once again, that is dugoutmugs.com. Use the keyword rotation to save some cash, and then Pops will be drinking his favorite beverage. That's good. I want to talk about something else great out of your bullpen. Tommy Hunter, who has pitched nearly 15 years in this league, finally got a base knock. And so not only did he get it, you could see the excitement on his face when he was out there. Robbie's going to pull up the video here in a second. Here we go. It's in one of the many places that he's pitched, and it was a pull shot too, which I know is huge for you pitchers. But watch his reaction. Look at the guys. Oh, yes, yeah, we know. Get the baseball. We get it. He is so excited. And then I want you to listen to him after the game. It was the best interview we've had in baseball afterward.
Tommy, are you going to lobby to try and get back in the lineup tomorrow?
Hey, no. Oh, no. Highlight. Hands down. Best thing I don't know. I have no idea. I jumped on first like a little leaguer. Man, it was crazy. That's the coolest thing I've ever done in the big leagues. I got a knock in the show.
He might have had a silver bullet or two too. He's been known to wind down after his outing, but it's funny. He'll look at you, be like, "Oh, I got to talk to the media, don't I?" I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "Oh, all right, Tommy, you're already excited as usual." So he is the energy that guy has. I don't know where it comes from. He's crazy. He's crazy. He says he doesn't remember anything that happened once he got on first. He was talking to Freddie the whole time. No clue what he was saying. He was just saying stuff back. And then he ran and he was like narrating scoring on the homer, like as if it were a triple. He was like yelling, like you can see him yelling, talking to himself as he's running. And he's like sprinting around the bases after the homer. And yeah, you can see it. Like they're all waving him because they can see him. He's like yelling. And then he's gassed at home. So he high fives VR. VR runs by him and goes into the dugout. And he's got his helmet under his arm and just like gassed, walking slowly in. But I'm blown away. He remembered to like wait, like right here. He takes his helmet off and then he walks. Yeah, oh god, so funny. I was inside. I was like, there's no way that just happened. What is this team that I'm on? What the things that are happening to us are insane. And then, I believe he had an old man back spasm like 2 days later. He's like, I got out of bed and I couldn't get to the bathroom. What is happening? What is going on? There was no picking up kids. There was no taking off your shoes. was a Jeremy Affeldt situation. It was like he just like rolled out of bed to go to the bathroom, was like, oh, and then it just went down, cockroach.
Hey,
I've done that
shouldn't be
before.
laughing. I'm a guy that survived back surgery, so I feel his pain.
Yeah.
But it was such a beautiful moment, man.
It
So
was.
now I think your hitting ledger says 0 for 3.
3 strikeouts.
And you're a setup guy. Like, how are we ever going to get you back to the dish?
I'm cool with it.
What do you mean?
Go look up. I don't know if you can find it at some point, but go look up my bat against John Lackey, my first ever bet. I must have had 8 foul balls. He was furious, by the way. That guy is not. He was not shy about letting you know how he felt. And he was just like, he kept throwing fastball for fastball because he knew I had no at bats. And I just kept fouling him into their dugout. And he's like, dude, swing and he was MFing himself and MFing me and walking around. And then he finally threw a curveball right in the middle. I swung at it like I'd never seen a curveball in my life. And that was looped on the old TVs at our home clubhouse when we got home from that trip. But yeah, my strikeouts were not. Johnny Cueto 0-2 front door covered me once. And I looked at him like, come on. But Lackey came up against me and just absolutely swung out of his shoes and then stared at me first pitch, which is so funny. I'll never forget it.
That's great. That's good stuff. Were you ever a decent hitter in high school?
Up until I was a pitcher only my senior in high school because we knew that because I was not only that we had a Division One, I was a third baseman, and our third baseman was like a Division One player, and they're like, you can play the outfield, and I'm like, I just don't care. And not only that, I was committed to the University of Washington to be a pitcher only at that. Like I had already made that decision, so like it just like you don't have to do batting practice and you don't have to do anything outside of just practice pitching. So I was like, okay, this is great. I'll do my homework. So I sat in the cage and did my homework sometimes.
True or false? You were the high school valedictorian.
Yes, sir. True.
How are we just getting to this?
I don't know how you didn't know that. It comes up a lot. Yes, I was the valedictorian of Kelso High School in 2008.
How big was your class?
410.
What?
410 people.
That's legit. I thought you were going to be like Travis Hafner, class of 6.
Yeah, I believe we had, because in where I grew up before, we didn't have like weighted courses. So we had 4.0 was the best you could get. And so there was nothing like difficulty of classes mattered. And I believe it was me and another person were 4.0, the only 2 4.0s. And then we had like 12 salutatorians, like 12 with 399s people.
So I don't know. So you shared the valedictorian status?
If I remember, and it was a girl who was actually a year younger. She skipped a grade, and she ended up going to Yale. So I'm sure she's solving the world's problems right now.
Right.
It'd be worth looking up. But yeah, she was much naturally smarter than me. I think I just had horrible anxiety of just not getting A's. So I just did everything in my power to get them.
What do you think you would have done if you hadn't been able to throw a ball 97?
I was going to pursue architecture at Washington, but I think I would have probably given that up quickly, just because the path to like making that a career is so hard and competitive, and which would have been fine. I think I would have been fine, but it's just like the ceiling isn't high. So I probably would have gotten into either like something computer science based, and then entrepreneurship based on what I like now.
I was going to say kind of like where you are.
Yeah,
I got it. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. What is not cool is what happened with one of your 16 injured players, and Kevin Pillar.
Yeah.
Before we hear from him, where were you in the bullpen when he got hit?
Yes, we were. I was in the bullpen out there, and we were like, we hope that didn't hit him, square. And then it showed when he got up and like zoomed in, there was like a pool of blood. We're like, yeah, that definitely hit him in the nose, because only the nose would produce that much blood on your face. 100%. What a champion, this guy.
Well, for people that haven't heard the soundbite afterward, this guy should win the Baseball Humanitarian of the Year award based on just this response. This is the next day he shows up looking like he had been in a car accident, and he is talking about the guy who threw the baseball, Jacob Webb.
I know in this scenario, I can't speak about all his scenarios, but I know this guy didn't want to hit me. I know he didn't want to hit me in the face. The bases were loaded and it was a 1-0 game, and accidents do happen. So, in that regard, there's, I know he feels bad. I know me and him have talked last night, today, and I'm almost worried about him than I am myself, because I know I saw his reaction and I know how tough that could be on someone who feels, responsible for someone getting injured.
Yeah. I Webb looked, I remember seeing too. I'm like, he looks more shook up than, and he's not only that, you need to factor in, he's a young guy trying to stay on the team. And I don't think he's been throwing overly well either. So you just compare. I know that's not consciously in his mind, but there's an extra pressure added, and then you throw something on top like this is just another like really hard thing to deal with on top of that. So all of those emotions could go together, and he'd look like I saw the manager over there like with him after he got pulled. And he stayed there for a bit and was talking to him. But knowing KP, he knows, like, not only that, once he found out that, like, yeah, I have my nose broken, but they're going to set it, then it's just going to heal, and I'm going to have like a little bit of a crooked nose, but like that's, he's not. He's like, dude, that's pretty cool. Like I'm okay. Like it looks really bad, but that's what this looks like. But it's just like I got punched square in the middle of the face. Like other than that, like there's no teeth missing. There's nothing long term that's going to be really bad. I mean, he still thinks he's going to come off the deal in like 2 days. So we'll see. I mean, he's doing stuff. He's swinging bat already and all that kind of stuff. He's still all swollen up. But that for him to do that was not surprising one bit, knowing him as a person, his character. And that's pretty awesome. And it's a testament again. He's a big reason that our culture is the way it is in our clubhouse too. He's been a leader. So
I want to flip it on Jacob Webb's side, because since then he has been sent down. That's something that could really fuck you up for your career, I imagine, if you're a pitcher. I mean, have you ever hit somebody in the head, face?
Middle of the back, like really high up. I've gotten thrown over up at, like by a head a couple of times. Not like super close, but like to where I was like, like, and yeah. If there's any catalyst for yips coming, like that could be one of the major ones. But hopefully KP saying, hey man, like there's no harm, like literally in 2 weeks, like I'm going to be playing again, and it's going to be not as if nothing happened, but like really at that point it'd be no harm. Like we'll just be past it. And if you try to take it that way and just think about it like, hey man, you let stuff sail and you throw a hard ball, like it could hit soft places. It just can. It's just a possibility. And one of the things you're learning to do is to throw the ball where you want to throw it. So I really hope that's kind of the path that he's on, that it doesn't cause any issues moving forward.
No, and I hope people are checking in on him.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing that I think the pandemic has allowed us to be, pardon me, is a more empathetic, compassionate society. And like, I hope people are in the Braves organization. And excuse me, they're a very good organization. I hope they have people checking in on him, and making sure he's okay, because that's something that can sit with you, I imagine. So I'm rooting for him to come back here and have a successful career and get past that.
Absolutely.
There have been guys who haven't. So that's where we are. Let's have a little more fun. I want to take you back down to your Marlins series.
Okay.
You were the one who set me straight when I said, hey, listen, I get nervous when one of my guys comes in the game just naturally. Like I have 6 more kids. And you were like, you're never going to get past that. He goes, and then there was that time where Miggy faced me and I got him to ground out to second. And inevitably it's going to happen again. And here's what happened again.
Fastball right down the middle.
Here's the hole at bat, though.
I mean, how does he take that slider? For real.
What? Were you mad at him for taking it?
Yeah, it was such a good slider. I threw him a changeup that I think he just didn't. It was one of those situations where I was like, oh, that's a good take. But in reality, I think he didn't see what it was and was like, it was just happened to be a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good piece of hitting. The guy's good, man.
Yeah. He is good. Now
One
he's
thing I
injured.
will say, and this is unrelated, I feel like I kept him on first really well though, because I know he wants to steal. Everyone, like that whole team wants to steal. And my goal was to be like, all right, but you're going to stand on first. You're not stealing second on me, even though because I'm a big slow. Like I'm not fast to the plate, but I'm going to mix up these holds and these leg kicks and all this stuff because that's all I got in my toolbox. So that was. See, this is kind of the chess match you have in your brain, right? You got to. Okay, I gave it the hit and I missed when I was ahead there, but I can do this good now. So I'm trying to hold on to that as opposed to giving up the hit.
Was there any, once again, Rose rotation, head nod, eye contact, anything?
Not yet. But I did think immediately that this was going to go on the old socials. So it was great.
It was there.
Great.
Well, you had a very successful trip through the state of Florida as far as the Rose rotation goes. You got to hang out with Miguel Rojas, there. You guys were on the same field. And then Tyler Glasnow actually turned in his first homework assignment courtesy of you. How did this happen?
He just hit me on a DM and on Instagram. Was like, hey, I have my homework. Do you want to? I was like, yeah, I'm going to throw it this time. Do you want to be out there? And I was coming into the dugout and he was out there behind the plate. And also Oliver Drake was out there too. And I played with him too. So like I said hi to him. He actually took the picture of us. So and then but that's the first time I talked to Glass, man. I honestly we were just the things he was asking me about. He's like, hey bro, the napping, what's that? Like he was asking me about all this, like all the things we do to like feel good and get better at pitching and all. And I keep forgetting how much younger he is than me. Like he really is 4 years younger. Like he's not because he's been around for a while, but he got up when he was young. So I'm just like, man, we got to do an episode of, we're both hosts. We got to do one together. I think that's something we should do.
Hell yes.
Just like shoot the shit, because I was like, bro, I could talk to you about pitching all day, man.
By the way, he's a big motherfucker, isn't he?
Oh, I'm not usually. I still outweigh him. I outweigh everybody I take pictures with. But yeah, he's got 2 inches on me at least. He's 6'7", 6'8".
I know, it's crazy because you're a large human being.
Look how much longer his torso is than mine. So that's like our legs are almost the same length, but our torsos are way different.
Yeah, and his hair is. How's it smell? Does his hair smell like great?
I didn't smell his hair. I'm gonna be honest.
I thought maybe it was just close enough to your nose where you could be like,
didn't do that.
Okay.
Don't make that my homework assignment, please.
I'll pass. It is amazing. Every time we put him on the TV screen, my wife, because his hair is just unreal.
It is. The long hair is the thing in the MLB right now.
Yeah, he's got it rocking. He's got it rocking. All right. Big stuff that happened last week in Chicago with the Cardinals. Giovanni Gallegos coming into the game as a reliever. The second base umpire spots something on the bill of his cap, goes over to his crew chief, Joe West, and says, hey, listen, just change your hat. I don't want you to throw a pitch with that thing on there, and then somebody asks us to check your hat or whatever. Just change your hat. And Mike Shildt lost his shit, got ejected, and then afterward gave us a 10-minute press conference talking about pitchers using foreign substances. And here's just a snippet of what he said.
Major League Baseball's got a very, very, very tough position here because there are people that are effectively and not even trying to hide, essentially flipping the bird at the league with how they're cheating in this game with concocted substances. There are players that have been monetized for it. There are players that are obviously doing it, going to their glove. There's clear video of it. You can tell the pitchers that are doing it because they don't want to go to their mouth, which Gio does off the rubber. And understandably, and I know comfortably, Major League Baseball is trying their best to do it in a manner that doesn't create any black eye for the integrity of the game that we love.
Yeah. I think before I get into what he's talking about, is there anyone better at holding a pen and talking like this
than Mike Shildt?
Mike Shildt has a pen in his between these all the time in the dugout. It's like he's on Weekend Update. He's keeping notes. So he did it. He's doing it, and it's like he wants to. He's like, okay, I got to organize this. How I'm going to do this? I'm going to go on a monologue here, so I need to make sure. Yeah,
it could be like an action figure, by the way, where you snap things in and they just hold in place.
Yeah,
you might just have a snap hold.
Maybe that's what's happening. He's got to be the best at that. But in terms of what he's saying, this has been. I'm hearing this left, right. I'm hearing it all over the place. There's guys that are like engineering their spin rates in a cage in the off season using tons of different sticky stuff. I'm sure that does exist. I bet you it's a much smaller number of people than people think. People think it's 50% of the league, when in reality it's probably like 10 guys total. But it is becoming more and more prevalent that the less that stuff's policed, the more chances guys are going to take on like literally. He says literally concocting, like Heisenberg style, like putting anything that has any sort of adhesive qualities into a pot, melting it, and then mixing it together, and then putting that on your hands and seeing. Like, does that exist? Yes, of course it has. How long has it existed? Literally forever. So, but now that we can gauge with technology what that stuff does, like empirically to like the physics of the ball, guys are more likely to try it, because that is how you're determining value of players, especially when they're young and they want to get a chance at the big leagues, quote unquote, getting heavy sinkers or heavy ride carry fastballs. If you can increase that stuff and make it better before you get to the big leagues, you might get a chance that you wouldn't have gotten before. So I completely understand, his frustration with that, especially because he's protecting his guy. He's like, Giovanni is not the guy to go after for this. Basically, that's where that came from, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, here's my point. I wish Major League Baseball would have come out with a statement within 24 hours. Of course, they didn't, because they dragged their feet on virtually everything. They should have come out with a statement and said, hey, listen, this is something we're looking at, or we're collecting. It's the reason we're collecting baseballs this year. We want to clean it up. We want to take a proactive stance in it. We're not doing nothing, because when you say nothing, you give off the impression that you're doing nothing.
Yeah.
And they're making it seem like they don't give a shit what you guys do. I mean, you guys, I'm saying pitchers.
Yeah.
That's the impression it gives to fans. Is that?
Yeah. So think about it this way. Chewing tobacco. Remember a bunch of cities banned it?
Yep.
And it's definitely like, guys are like, we're not just going to not chew. We're just going to be secretive, more secret, like more not as blatant in your face with it. It's one of those situations, because it's something that until someone said the term, and I believe it was T. Bauer, I believe he said these words. I believe this is the phrase everyone's catching on to, that sticky stuff is a bigger problem than steroids. Give me a break. First of all, just come on. Like, think about how good you felt every day on set. Come on. Like, that's not even remotely close. Like, it doesn't matter how much sticky stuff, if your arm hurts, you're not going to pitch well. So just come on. It's completely different, apples and oranges. But and so there's a lot of like pundits saying that over and over again. I'm hearing steroids and sticky stuff, and it's just not. That's not the way it is. It just isn't. But it could very easily become that. So I think that's the issue. I think the issue is,
can it turn a guy who's a good pitcher into a guy who's elite?
It depends on the guy. It really does. It's not universal, and I believe that wholeheartedly, because there's so many things that affect your ability to manipulate the ball based on how you throw it. It's not like a, hey, put this on your hand and you'll just become the greatest pitcher ever. But guys who are already very talented and are already can spin the ball really well, but like they naturally can't get it quite to that uber elite level that are doing it. That's something that's like, you're going from very good to incredible. Like, that's the issue, right?
Is that cheating?
At that point, technically, there's a rule against putting foreign substance on your hand, so it's cheating. Like, you got to say that it is. But there are degrees. I'm so big on context. I'm trying to. There's baseball tends to put blanket absolutist statements on situations. Well, obviously, because there's lots of guys that play it, right? And I try to not buy into that ever, because it's so important to understand context. But yes, by all standards, if there's a rule and it's deliberately being broken, it can be considered cheating. At what degree is going to be wildly thrown in every direction.
Okay, I love this sport much like you do. I want to see it get better. I don't even know if the fans give as much of a shit of it as maybe some of the players and people who cover the sport for a living. Yeah. So I don't even know where it resonates among fans. But where does this end? Does it end in the off season with a negotiation?
Maybe. I think that standardization is just a huge thing about it. You got to remember, MLB takes. We're a very reactive sport. We're very rarely proactive on things. It's just not the way that we handle things on both the player side and the MLB side. And so ever since the Astros thing, I'm going to be honest, there's been a very, very like sensationalist drive by people in media, adding COVID, not being able to be in clubhouses and have that access, like finding some things that are like, oh, this is a big issue. Let's talk about this. And I get it. I totally understand it. It's going to happen. It's just natural how that happens. So it became a PR thing. And then MLB's like, oh, this is a PR thing more than it is maybe affecting the game as much as people think it is. It's being overblown a little bit. But it's still a PR issue. We need to deal with it from that standpoint. So I think standardization is probably the best. Basically, like just like we have a rosin bag behind, that's our standard for like drying your hands. Rosin is the way you dry your hands. You don't use dry hand stuff. You use rosin. There could be a standardization for not even sticky stuff, like priming your hand to where you have some sort of tack in your hand. So like you're not just like one day you're super clammy, one day your hands are super dry, one day the ball's super dry because you're in Arizona and you're not in Colorado. All super. That's not a good example. Or as opposed to Atlanta, those are the balls just feel different, like because of the weather. It's just the amount of moisture in the air. So most guys are like, I want my hand at least to feel the same when I go into games in those two places so that I can feel like I can do the thing I need to do and throw the ball where I need to throw it and I can compete. It gives me a sense of comfort, just like hitters get pine tar and some guys are pine tarred to hell and sometimes have a little bit because it gives them a comfort level on how they can grip their bat and move it and manipulate the bat in order to hit the ball the way they want to hit the ball and react to the ball the way they want to hit it. So that premise is most guys, that anyone who uses anything like sunscreen or rosin, they just happen to put it on top of each other. And those two things together can get tacky at times, though it's immediately gone. As soon as like literally you touch it and 10 seconds later, if you didn't move, it'd be gone. So it's like the most brutal, like it's not a very good solution, but those are two things that are legal and that could be the standard. So I think finding a standard is the next step. Probably. I
think we need, like when you go to a yogurt shop and at the end of putting all your toppings on, you have your choice of hot fudge or caramel and, and you can hit the little things. It's not COVID safe these days, but you can hit the little dispensers. I think we got to put a dispensing machine behind the pitching mound. So if you really want to load up the ball, you get the cement mix. If you just want to do a little, sunblock and rosin, you got that. And the next,
or they have a thing that says you can't put anything on your, or you there's like one spot on your glove that's legal to have it. So like it's so small that there's only a certain amount that could be there. And then of course there'd be gray area and guys can check it if they want, but at least everyone would be like, okay, we're acknowledging that there is something in some area. So when you're touching that, everyone's like, okay, it's not cheating anymore. It's just, and then it's a certain type of thing you can use that's like very low use or whatever. And that way guys can use it. They cannot use it. If it doesn't help you, don't use it. Like,
let's move on to another sticky situation with your old team, the Minnesota Twins. And we had the whole Yermin Mercedes thing. I've talked the La Russa side to death. I don't want to talk about that anymore. I want to talk about it from Tyler Duffey's standpoint, whom you know. We have good information. He did not want to throw behind Yermin Mercedes. Did not. And somehow he got stuck with that job. How does this go down? And I know you can't speak on it because you're not on that team anymore. How does stuff like this get handled in a bullpen?
It's so interesting. I'm debating whether or not I should tell this story. F it. There's been a point in my life where I ran out and the catcher just said, hey, these are the signs. And also we're doing this. was like, what? Like, I just had to deal with it, like being out there. That was one way that's happened to me at some point. And you have to make the decision if you're going to like do it or not.
And what was your decision?
Do it because your manager told you to, basically. But even though they didn't physically tell you, that was more old school. Obviously, that was actually years and years and years ago. Honestly, almost.
Trevor, that's fucked up though. Putting a young guy in that situation.
Oh, 100%. And to be honest, there was older guys who I'd seen who'd been put in that situation before who just didn't. They just walked them, or they tried once, they missed, or they didn't get it like behind, and then they just pitched to them after that. Like they gave themselves one chance. The heart wasn't in it. They threw it over the plate and they were just like, okay, that was it. That's all I'm doing. And we had seen that happen a lot. And there's a weird effect that it has for lighting a fire. Obviously that is not an excuse, right? Lighting a fire under your team, showing someone that you're like, hey, I have everyone here's back. The team was not playing well. I'm trying to think from being on that team, knowing all those guys and like how the clubhouse works, the type of reaction they had post. Like when that happened, I saw a stat. Wasn't that it was like the first 3-0 pitch swung at +10 in 20 years?
Yeah, there was some debate. It might have been the first, it might have been the third. The point is, it doesn't happen weekly.
It doesn't happen very often. And there is a certain level of policing that happens in our game. And I understand throwing at a guy is not the best way to do any of this stuff ever. Right. We're to the point where like that in the 80s, guys were smoking heaters in the clubhouse or in the dugout. Right. They handled stuff differently. And everyone's like, that's toughness. When in reality, it's not straight up toughness, man. It's just a lot of times it's just stupid. Like it was just dumb. You didn't need to handle things like that. And we've evolved past being able to handle things like that. But the way that our game, like rules that are written in a book, aren't the only way that we manage how our culture of our game is because of the nature of it. It's super, super long. The season's insanely long. The way that you find, like I'm talking about energy levels earlier, the way that you find energy and like get yourself back in like competitive mode, it comes from crazy places sometimes. And sometimes that's something that gets like a guy who's kind of like dejected and like, you guys are like, Jesus, we are not playing well. And then suddenly you're like, wait, we're back in this. And we take exception to being kind of shit on. And that's kind of what it was. They got their ass kicked that day. They've been getting their ass kicked all season, and they're getting beat by a team that the last couple of years they've been battling with, and every game was game 7. And now they're just getting their ass kicked, and half, like 70% of the team's still the same team. And they're like, what's going on? So it became like guys, we should still be beating this team regularly. We're still that team. We're still good enough to beat them. So obviously the means to get there isn't the right way, but that's the value that it serves for say the Twins. But at the same time, it works the same way for Chicago.
Did you end up hitting that guy?
I think so.
How hard is it to throw
Very
at
hard.
somebody when your heart?
It's extremely hard. And you do not only that, like you're just like, okay, if I were hitting, where's my media spot? So just hit him right in the butt cheek. Like if I got hit in the butt, I'd be like, that hurts, but I can run still. Don't hit him in the knee. Don't hit him in the ankle. No joints, no net, obviously not up. Right. And if you're going to miss, just miss way behind him. Like that's kind of like, you're going to miss, just really miss. Just miss. Let them know what you're like. Obviously everyone knows, but you missed and no one's hurt. And so like, yes, you're probably screwed at that point, but like, at least the message was sent without hitting anybody. Like that's the kind of thing you're like, the way I think about pitching too. I'm like, I'm going to throw a pitch. I want to miss. I don't want damage to be done to the ball. So pitch. So I'm going to like miss in a spot that I want to miss. Same thing. But it's nothing you ever prepare for. It's not something like I think we've established what type of guy I am. I'm not really, I'm not a super like everything's a slight, like aggressive guy. I'm not. Yeah, I'm just trying to give a little bit more context into how these things happen. I think that I think there's just more going on than like guy just deciding they don't like somebody and then like that's just never. There's a few times that happens where guys just like, I don't like this guy. I'm hitting him. Like sometimes guys do that. That's happened. I know that has happened fairly recently. Some guys have done that, but every situation I've ever seen where I was at a game or it was my team or vice versa, I know I've never seen a pitcher like, come on. Like they're always like, let's just get this over with, man. Like, let's get past it. Like, I don't hate you as a person. I hope you don't hate me. And you know, we got to handle this the way that we're supposed to handle this because it's how the game's played. Right.
Yeah.
So, and I know Tyler too. He's not, he shows lots of emotion on the mound, but he's not like a you, me, like that's not the way he is either. And I know that he probably wasn't too happy about it either.
I'm sure he wasn't. And I'm sure he wasn't happy giving back 40 grand or whatever he had to give back.
Definitely not happy about that.
That would suck.
Yeah.
Hope they got their point proven. Spin the wheel of moderately interesting things. We have a bunch of new topics since we last saw you. So here we go. Paper trail. So what was the first major purchase that you made after you got some dough?
I love this question so much. I always recommend kids do this or young guys do this. I bought turntables. I bought some Pioneer CDJ 2000 Nexuses and a DJM 900 mixer. Those were the things I bought. Comes out to about $6,000, and I believe they're still about $6,000 now. And this was like 2014. So they hold their value really well. It was an investment.
You know what? We landed on that last time.
Did we?
You loved it so much because you told me that.
I don't know if we did it here. I think I just said it.
You get to play. Oh, this will be good for you. Hot friend.
Okay.
What do you think that is, by the way?
Which one of my teammates is the most attractive?
How do you take your coffee?
Black.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought for sure being a Pacific Northwester, you would have been all over a half-cap decaf mocha latte with a twist or something.
Yeah, no sugar. I'm out of sugar right now. Black coffee. Sorry.
And how much do you load up on game day?
I have 1 cup in the morning now, and then maybe one at the field or like a cold brew. I'm a big cold brew guy. We got those chameleon cold brew. I don't know if you've had that. It's a concentrate coffee. You can get it at the grocery store and pour 4 ounces in with ice, and it's like. And we have that same brand at the field, but I have my own roast of coffee that I also turn into cold brew.
What?
It's called King's Coast Mayday Roast. And it's very, 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 very good. I should probably send you a bag.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's
if you're a big coffee guy, but it is really, really good as cold brew. So if you make your own cold brew, it's a good one.
I'm in.
And also, Brandon Nimmo is my most attractive teammate. All right. He's the Max Kepler of the New York Mets.
Oh, Kepler.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Cap would definitely.
Oh, there we go. There's your Trevor. That's right. I forgot about that. I've seen this all over the place.
Yeah, it's good. How cool is that packaging, man? They crushed it.
They really did.
Really, really great company. They're on Long Island too. They do. It's just everything's made in-house, fresh.
I almost expect it to come with a Trevor May bobblehead. It's such a
that doesn't exist yet.
Hey, there's always the possibility. Speaking of the turntables, I know that was your homework assignment. And we'll push it to the next time. Have you used the turntables in the clubhouse yet?
So here's the biggest issue. And here's the thing I forgot about being a DJ. Having a library of music is so important. And nobody has raw files for music anymore. Like no one has the actual MP3s. Like those don't exist. No one has iPods. Everyone's just Spotify or Apple Music and they just stream. So I'm like, oh crap, how am I gonna get music? So I've been downloading like 10 songs a day, just trying to get a library up to where I could go vibe for a couple hours. And I have an old disk or an old external hard drive. I don't know where it is. I think it's at home, but it's just full of music. So I've been like asking all my friends online. I'm like, hey, bro, do you have music like just sitting around? Do you have like your old 500 song? I don't care what it is. Country. I need everything. Just anything that's remotely close.
Yeah.
Because I have a DJ app. Then you put it in and analyzes all the music, gives you all like the key and everything.
Because you're ready to go, dude.
I'm ready to go. Everything's ready. Like I have the laptop sitting. I don't even bring it home anymore. It just sits there ready to go. So but I only have like 70 songs total. So I'm like, I need like 1,000 song library.
I was going to say you need at least 500.
So we can keep the vibe up and change it based on what guys want. So, but we're very, very close, and I'll have guys it'll probably be in the next vlog, like a full, me just like in front of the clubhouse, like as everyone's just getting ready for the game, like the week, like go nap, come in at 6:30 and just play until 7. Just get guys ready, build up the hype, like start with country and just get up just crazy.
Now, have you thought about this? Will you take requests, or is that just too dangerous? You will.
Yeah, I'll take requests. Like that's the biggest thing. Well, why would I play a bunch of stuff guys have never heard of or don't want to hear? Like that's the point.
Then it become a little bit of a headache. This guy wants that. This guy, and then
I'll 100% ignore some guys.
Okay.
like Frankie Lindor,
Francisco.
Sorry. Hey, I'm his teammate. I can call him Frankie. Frankie, Sugar, and I'm gonna be honest. We got a lot of guys with Puerto Rican heritage, and they love Bad Bunny. Oh my God. On the plane the other day, we listened to like a Bad Bunny concert. It was like his songs over, just him, one guy. I'm like, I don't think I've ever just put one guy on ever. So
by the way, how's that get done on a plane?
Oh, everyone's got portable speakers. I think at this point,
okay,
so I'm in the back in between the two groups. So we got Stro and Ty a little bit ahead of me, and then Frankie and Sugar in the back. So this is Latin music in the back, and then in the front, it's more like there's some hip hop, there's some other, there's some more variety, but I'm between two speakers, and it's like 10 rows. So I'm like, I can hear both songs just as loud as each other, and I have my noise cancel headphones and what I want to listen to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a Bose speaker. I'm just going to play podcasts, just guys talking in between them. Like, guys, you want to listen to what I'm listening to? Let's just listen to this podcast by Jason Bateman. How's that sound?
Oh my God. Is he talking about the next season of Ozark?
No, I don't know if I don't know if this is going to be a weird non-ad plug, but I just started listening to him, Will Arnett, Sean, like it's called Smartless. It's hilarious. It is so funny because those guys, I've never like, have you seen a Will Arnett movie or anything where he's remotely serious? Like not a big meathead, just dummy.
Right.
Like that's the character he plays. So when he asks like cerebral questions, I can't help but think he's being facetious.
Right.
Like he's got to be making fun of them or something, but he's not. He's like genuinely interested, which is hilarious. And Jason Bateman is his character. Like that's who he is. That's the cadence of his voice. That's how he talks. That's everything. They're all the same guys. And they bring on like comedians and like they had Zach Galifianakis and Tina Fey.
He's so different in Ozark than in anything he's ever done.
But even then, he has those moments that they're not funny.
He does,
but they could be funny.
They could be funny, but
the way he reacts to certain situations, like
yeah,
what do you want me to do? Like that kind of thing. Like it's pretty funny.
I know. He's the most calm guy that's in the most fucked up situation I've ever seen.
Yes.
I don't know how.
What a show! I can't wait till the next season comes out.
When's that supposed to come out? By the way, do we know?
Probably in fall would be my guess, or later.
Yeah. Real quickly, what are you watching these days on?
What am I watching? I just watched something called Jupiter's Legacy, which was like a superhero show on Netflix, which is really interesting. And then I watched another superhero show called The Nevers on HBO Max.
Okay.
It's like Victorian England. People got powers, and then now they're trying to navigate through their lives and discrimination and X-Men type style, which is interesting. What else did I watch?
I watched
anything HBO Max.
I watched the Friends reunion.
I watched one segment. I watched Lady Gaga sing Smelly Cat, which was awesome.
That was the only thing you could get through?
That's all I watched.
Yeah, see, that was right in my wheelhouse. I mean, I am their age, so I had to watch it. And it was good. It was cute. Good. It was cute. Plus, I always had a thing for Aniston.
Who didn't have a thing for Aniston?
If you ever see her, go for it. I'm sure she'll right away welcome you in.
She's great in Horrible Bosses. What are you talking about?
Yes, it's true.
I think it all came back, flooded back then, right?
Yeah. And I have to tell you that Lisa Kudrow was great in Friends. She even did her character. One thing they did, I thought that was kind of cute in the reunion was they did the table reads of some famous scenes, and they intermixed it with the actual scenes and them doing the table reads. And she was killing it on the table reads. She totally did her Phoebe character, and it was really, really good. It was excellent. You should watch a few more segments.
Maybe I'll watch it.
Did you watch Friends? You probably didn't.
Oh, I've seen every episode of Friends.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I mean, my sister's 42 now.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so like
the one that Ben
older.
Davis.
Like I watched Thundercats growing up. Like that's older than me.
Right.
But I watched like the old cartoons because they were all older than me.
Got it. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you making some time today. I'm happy you got through the sniffles here, which is good. Take care of yourself. Hydrate. Go get a nap in.
I will. You don't have to threaten me with a good time.
I will. I'm looking forward to the next vlog. I will be one of the first 10,000 to watch it.
It's going to be very good.
I don't doubt it. The first one was excellent. It really was good. And we'll see you in a few weeks. How's that sound? Next time.
Sounds great.
We'll snag a guest.
Let's do it.
Okay. I want to thank everybody for listening today. Quick reminder, keep downloading us wherever you get your podcasts. You subscribe as well. We also got our JM Baseball Media YouTube channel. Give us the old thumbs up and leave a comment there because that's what Trevor really appreciates. Special shout out to Robbie Shirako and Jameis DeKay, our intern, who helped us out with all the research on this one as well. And we will see you next time on the Chris Rose Rotation, a production of JOMBOY Media.